Hi, everybody. Welcome to Better Than Never. Shit.
I'm not actually inside a women's prison at the moment.
The horniest just went up to like 11.
Good afternoon.
At least say a big fuck you to Nick.
Tyler Yaremchuk must go to Cinco de Mayo.
Ty, why won't you kiss me?
Better late than never with bagged milk.
Better late than never with bagged milk.
It's better late than never.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. Fight me if you don't agree.
Long live Arby's. Can you believe that the Edmonton Oilers are kicking off a Stanley Cup final in only, a handful of days? After 18 years, our beloved Edmonton Oilers are in the Stanley Cup final with a chance at bringing glory back to where it belongs, right here in Edmonton. Of course, there's a lot of work to do to get there. Job's not finished, job's not done. Check out the La Bamba Mentality t-shirts up at nationgear.ca. If you want to support, I'm going to start off with a shout out to the audio department who works to create a safe space for creativity and collaboration for artists and musicians to realize their potential and share their message through sound and story. This is what you would call an artist. Me sharing my story through voice. And Satan's here too.
I'm here. I'm really excited about what's to come because, listen, what you may not know about Bag Milk is when the Edmonton Oilers go into the playoffs, he gets into the darkness. All these games that Rogers plays, sure, you may think that everything is going fine inside, but really there's a demon that propels him forward.
Hey, you're not supposed to tell me that.
What do you mean there's a demon? That sounds scary, Satan.
I'm telling you there's a demon, Loquat. If you have any sense, you will stay away from this man during a playoff run.
But I talked to him on the phone and he seemed like he was fine.
I don't care what he says on the phone. Bag Milk has the darkness. It's been eating inside for 16 years.
It's kind of true. As the Oilers kind of made it through Game 6 and made it through is apropos of how that game went. Still won. Got the job done. All I could think about and still thinking about right now as I'm recording this is how wild it is, how long it took for us to get back here. You know, the last time the Oilers went to the Stanley Cup final was in 2006. We all know that. The very next year, they traded Ryan Smith to the New York Islanders. They couldn't agree on a deal despite the fact that a certain Eklund claimed that they had secured a 5-year deal right before the deadline, and then they kind of ripped the heart out of the organization. The good news is that spawned Oilersnation. So it's weird to think that the job I do now and, have worked in some capacity for 16 years was spawned out of such darkness, and that it took this whole time to get back to where it kind of started, the idea of it started, I think back on the 16 years I've been contributing at Oilers Nation, and it's over a decade full-time now, but 16 years where I started, there was a lot of nights where there wasn't a lot to cheer for, and the only thing that we had was each other because the journey was really all that mattered. Win or lose, we were all in it together. Win or lose, drink your booze. We used to have shirts that said that once upon a time, and that's kind of the vibe. No matter what, we were going to watch the games, and if they were going to be bad, well, then they may as well be bad while we're all doing it together. That was Oilers Nation. And now we have the opportunity to do something fantastic together. There were so many years, I think, about writing wrap-ups and writing post-game articles that were not wrap-ups yet, or just opinion pieces about teams that were out of it by Christmas. And now to think that they're 4 wins away from a parade is unbelievable. Of course, the job's not done. Nobody's saying it is going to be easy. It's going to be a very, very difficult task to beat the Dallas Stars. But at the end of the day, I think the Oilers' best can beat anyone's best. They're the underdog in this series, just like they were the underdog against Dallas and the underdog against Vancouver. In a lot of people's minds, at least for Vancouver. Remember? The Oilers lost 4 straight games in the regular season. Vancouver's going to walk through them, and then they gave up 3-goal lead in game 1 and lost, and they go, 5 in a row for Vancouver. What are you going to do? They won game 2, lost game 3, and then out come the media in Vancouver being, what's the likelihood of the Oilers winning 3 of the next 4 games? That's what happened, isn't it? Before round 3, the Western Conference Finals. Dallas is going to walk all over them. The Oilers might be lucky to win 1. And then all of a sudden they won game 1 in double overtime and Connor McDavid finished it off. And then the narrative changed to, oh, well, Stars are going to walk through them in 5. You know, they won game 2. Stars are going to walk through them in 5. They won game 3. Stars are going to walk through them in 5. And then what happened? The Oilers won 3 in a row against the best team in the Western Conference, at least by record. Now we've got one banner going up in the roof, the Western Conference champs. It's not the one we want, but that's number 1 of 2. I just think about the way the Oilers were disrespected in the last 2 rounds because they can't win with this goaltending. Dallas's depth is so much better. And then what happened? The Oilers' depth is what came through. Their power play came through at a time when they needed it. They got goals, 2 goals in back-to-back games in games 5 and 6, and those ultimately were the difference. But in the first 4, not 1. Yet the power play was almost overshadowed by 28 straight kills, including a perfect series against Dallas by the PK. The special teams in that series outscored the Stars 5-rip. 4 on the power play, 1 shorthanded. The game winner by Janmark in game 4. Everybody doubts the Oilers for whatever reason. Stu can't get it done. Well, how many saves did he make in game 6? Darnell Nurse is the worst. He comes back out and has one of his best games in the playoffs. Dallas is going to walk right through them. I was at game 6. Pretty sure that my ears are still ringing from the way that crowd went. It's wild. It's wild. And even now, as I'm talking about it, and I'm just kind of vamping, I'm just still having a hard time wrapping my head around it. 16 years in the making for Oilers Nation for this moment. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through some of what we got coming. In case you're wondering, leave to Florida on Friday. I will be down there for games 1 and 2. It's me, Jay, Tyler, Liam. Tyler and Liam are, I'm recording this just before 8 o'clock on Wednesday. They are hours away from going to the airport. They're going to be at Media Day. So they're heading down early. Jay and I are going up on Friday, though, both separate flights. We weren't sure what was going to happen. So I can admit this now that it worked. I bet on the Oilers to win game 6 by booking a flight to Florida. Now, it was a refundable flight. It was fully refundable. I'm not an idiot. But I just felt like if they got through, that the price of those flights would go up, and they did. So I bet on the boys with my credit card, with my belief, with the idea that on Friday night, I am heading to Florida. And I will be. Taking the red eye, it sucks. I found an option that would get me there in time with plenty of time. I was looking for it to be cost effective. That's what I found. It's wild to me. I just felt like in the moment as I had the WestJet app open and I was booking the flights or looking for flights, I just kind of thought, if this goes my way, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell.
Are you talking about hell? I told you could come visit any time, but I don't want you around. You leave your shit everywhere. There's clothes on the floor. You leave plates everywhere. You never help me with the dishes.
There's no way in hell I was going to miss it. I've written thousands of articles at Oilers Nation at this stage. I'll give you an exact number right now that I'm thinking about it. It's thousands of articles at Oilers Nation, and most of them were trying to put lipstick on a pig. Most of them were trying to keep us all entertained at a time when it was the worst. 3,985 articles by bagmilk at OilersNation.com. I'm 15 away from 4,000. I will have hit that by the time this cup final is over. I've got no doubt about it. So as I was thinking about it, I think about all the work, all the articles, all the parties, all the draft parties, the money for charity, all the people we met along the way, the ones that are still with us today, the ones I've become friends with over the years. All of us started with a love of this team that was really not being paid back in any way other than maybe having a draft party from time to time. And now, 4 wins away. 4 wins away. So what do we have planned at Oilers Nation? I'm glad you asked. I, along with Tyler, Liam, and Jay, we're heading to Florida. We are going to be covering game 1 and 2 the way we do. I'm going to have articles up on the site. I'm going to have travel diaries. I'm going to have game recaps or game previews. Frank Saravalli is going to be there with us. He's going to be covering it for dailyfaceoff.com. Here in Edmonton, and you're never going to believe this if you've been around a while. Here in Edmonton, Zach Lang and Cam Lewis are credentialed for the Stanley Cup final. Frank came through. Frank got the job done, and the boys are going to be in the building asking questions on behalf of the Nation Network. We are leveling up in every capacity. I've gone through all of our staff across the network, and at this point, it's bigger than you probably expect, and I've pulled in all the key players from all over the map to work on this. We had Kennedy launch the La Bamba mentality shirt I talked about. We're having increased attention on social. We're having increased attention on the website. We're bringing back some people that haven't written in a while just because it would be fun. We are going to cover this our way, and we're also going to cover it the traditional way with Cam and Zach in the building doing the questions, sitting in the pressers, going to morning skates, doing all the things that we should be allowed to do this entire time. And thanks to Frank Saravalli, we get to do that. The only thing I can think of, the only thing that we're going to have that's missing is, man, I wish Brownlee was here. You know? After Connor McDavid scored that ridiculous goal in Game 6 on the power play, walked around Miro Heiskanen with the toe drag, straight to the backhand, upstairs. I could only imagine what Brownlee would have written. That's what we're missing. But for the rest of us, we're going to try and do the best we can to make that guy proud. None of us are here without Brownlee. He was the first one to step up to Oilers Nation, he and Gregor, and gave it the idea that this could be something. And now, 2 days from now, basically 48 hours from now, I'm on a plane for the Stanley Cup final. I get to cover it as Bag Milk. I'm going to bring my Nuge jersey. I'm going to celebrate hard. I'm going to meet other Oilers fans. We're going to hang out. We're going to have a great fucking time. I'm excited. Hope you're excited. Because like I said, when I think back of the time at Oilers Nation, all I can think about is all the people that left comments, all the people who have written articles on the way, all the followers on social media, all the people we've interacted with along the way, all of you that are listening to this right now. Even when I started this podcast 2 years ago, the idea that you was going to the Stanley Cup Finals was like, what? They went to the Western Conference Finals, got swept by Colorado. Last year was in round 2 against the Golden Knights, and it just kind of felt like, fuck, what is it going to take for them to get over the hump? And then yet here we are, despite the odds, despite the 2-9-1 start, with a 16-game win streak, with an 8-game win streak right before that. The Edmonton Oilers fired Woody, brought in Nobby, and turned into one of the best teams in the NHL. Because that's was always in there. You know, I was reading Gregor's interview with Ken Holland today, and all I could think about was what a trip this year has been. You bring in Corey Perry after his situation in Chicago. You send Jack Campbell down. Stuart Skinner's numbers at the time were worse than Jack Campbell's when he got sent down. Stu emerged and was one of the best goalies in the NHL for stretches. Some struggles early in the playoffs. Locked it in. That 6th and deciding game. Had it not been for Stuart Skinner's brilliance, we're probably talking about a Game 7. By the way, shout out to Bang Guy, who pre-scheduled a tweet for Game 7 on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, I don't even know where to go with it. Other than to say I'm super excited. Super excited. And since I don't know what to say, as I always do, might as well leave it up to you. So, if you've probably heard some of the Donkey Volley originals that have come in. So, like as an example, here's Funky Ears Anthem.
sexy, and yours are too.
You know that song? So now we've started a kickoff, some original BLTN music, which I am all here for. So there's a lot of you that have contributed to these. Danger Suede sent them through to me, and I haven't listened to these yet because I want to wait for the podcast, because given my first reaction is what we do. It's what we do. Oh, by the way, before I get into these, I'm looking at the voicemail app right now that I use. There are so many voicemails that it's impossible that I'm going to do it today. So what does that mean? A voicemail episode coming up tomorrow. We got 2 episodes coming up. Listen, there's no game until Saturday anyway. What else are you doing? Spend another hour with me. Why not? But in the meantime, let's do a little music review, shall we? Let's do a little music review. And I think the first one is called Trouble at the Schoolyard. Again, I have not heard these before right now, and I'm excited.
School zones. Thank you for listening to Better Late Than Never.
I like how it ends so abruptly too. Captain Felton with the giant hammer. I went to Game 6 with Captain Felton, by the way. He said that he was coming out to Edmonton for Game 6, and we just kind of started talking over the course of the next, 24 hours, Captain? And we just decided, tickets? So we sat in the very last row of Rogers Place, the very last row. But at the same time, I couldn't have been more excited to be in that building. He was a great partner in crime to hang out with. We had a blast. The only downside from that night is I went to go get one of the free Oilers tattoos they were doing on the main concourse, and I just showed up late. I was going to get an oil drop. Why not? They were giving them out for free. I would like to signify this run with poor decisions. Why not? Either way, Trouble at the Schoolyard is what that one's called. Again, I love that it ends very abruptly. The next one we've got is Truth on Your Side. Here we go.
Bag milk, the handsome one. Dukes the dumb twat, Captain Felton with his massive hammer. Nick with his temper tantrums, and Donkey Volley, who can't go near school. It's better late than never.
Wow. What the fuck?
Listen, Satan wants to comment on what's going on here. If there's any truth to the rumors that are going on in these songs, we really have to rethink who is allowed to leave voicemails on this show. Listen, I'm the Prince of fucking Darkness. I'm all about the dark shit. But Satan isn't here to get lawsuits, people. No lawsuits. No slander, even by some. Satan says no.
Seven Seas Serenade. Seven Seas Serenade. Even the titling on these things is unbelievable. So let's check it out. Seven Seas Serenade.
Oh, Captain Felton with your charms. In your uniform, you're looking so fine and so true. Through the high seas and beyond. I'd follow the stars just to be where you are. Oh, I would sail the seven seas for love. With you, my captain, under skies above.
That one's actually kind of catchy. Again, ends very abruptly. It's just a da 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 da. That one's catchy though. Seven Seas Serenade. How much time did you guys spend making these? Now Donkey Volley kind of explained what happened with the AI, and I didn't know that was a thing, but clearly the squad's all having a good time. We've got Synthetic Kiss coming up. Synthetic Kiss. as the fourth and newest addition to the rotation in the music here, especially the Better Late Than Never original tunes. Here's Synthetic Kiss. Holy shit. This thing's 98 seconds long. Shout out to Yes, Bully RV. This thing is 98 seconds long. And it started out like that. Holy fuck. All right, I'm going to rewind. Give this thing its due. Synthetic Kiss.
Tyler, kiss me on the mouth. This is Donkey Volley jealous.
Is there more words to this, or is it just like a fucking club bop? Like an underground club bop? Tyler, kiss me on the mouth. This is Donkey Volley jealous. I mean, we're off to a good start. We still got another minute 10, though.
I'm so jealous. Why won't you kiss me, Tyler? I'm so jealous. Why won't you kiss me? Why won't you kiss me?
Wow. It was like if you ordered Depeche Mode from Temu. Oh, I found another one. This one's called Shepherd's Charm. This is the last one, I think. Like, boys, if I'm missing some songs, please like bump them back up in my DMs or whatever. But I'll do a whole music episode if I have to. A whole music episode. So this one is called Shepherd's Charm.
Donkey Volley, Donkey Volley. Don't you let him near your herd with that charming grin. He'll woo your goats from cliffs and hills, won't matter where they've been. Just a whistle and a call, see them running wild. He's the shepherd of desire, nature's longing child. Donkey Volley.
Of course, it just ends like that. Holy shit. Wow. Gentlemen. Wow. Donkey Volley. That one was kind of catchy. I like this a lot. Please send music forever. Like, I'll use these as bumpers. I'll use these when I need a break because I got to sneeze or cough. Again, I'm doing this on my own and I do it in one take. So if you give me some more crutches to lean on, holy shit, boys. Truly remarkable. Truly, truly remarkable. So Dangerous Wade sent those through. I know that Donkey Volley and Dux have been working on some. Captain Felton was involved in there as well. So just unbelievable. Unbelievably well done, boys. Fantastic. Let me know which one was your favorite. You know, let me know which one was your favorite before we get to the news here. We'll just do a real quick recap, just a couple seconds from each. I just want to know which one you like best. Let's rank these if you're listening. All right. So we got Trouble at the Schoolyard. Hang on. Go.
Thank you for listening to Better Late Than Never.
So we got that one, right? And then we had the Synthetic Kiss was just wild I like this one is just like I feel like I'm in a club and we're all on MDMA and it's a whole vibe. This one.
Tyler, kiss me on the mouth.
So that one's Synthetic Kiss. Truth on Your Side is up next.
Bag milk, the handsome one. Dukes, the dumb twat, Captain Felton.
And then we had Seven Seas Serenade.
Oh, Captain Felton with your charms. In your uniform, you're looking so fine and so true. Through the high seas and beyond. I'd follow the...
So that's Seven Seas Serenade, and then we had finally Shepherd's Charm.
Donkey Valley, Donkey Valley.
She's so stupid. In the best way. In the best possible way. Just truly amazing. Truly amazing. Wow. How am I going to start the news now? The news is brought to you by Star Mechanical. Star Mechanical is one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years. Many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating services installed by Star Mechanical. They offer 24/7 emergency services. Visit them at Star Mechanical and let them help you keep your home running smoothly. When I think of the news, all I want to talk about was Game 6 and Stuart Skinner. And how he stood on his head in a game where the Oilers won with only 10 shots on goal. I believe Liam told me that is a record for fewest shots in a playoff win. I think that's what he told me. Pretty sure. Anyway, when I think of that game, I think of one, Connor McDavid's goal where he made Miro Heiskanen's soul leave his body. And then 2, I think of Stuart Skinner standing on his head, stopping 33 of 34 shots with a .971. 5 on the power play. They had a couple of power plays in that game. Oilers killed them both. They had 3, I should say. Oilers killed all 3 of them off, including another too many men. Like, boys, learn to count. Like, listen, I'm with you. Math is hard. I don't like it either. But what I can tell you is that giving up those kind of penalties, that's not going to help you. Though, thankfully, the Oilers' PK is red hot. So, Stuart Skinner, you deserved all kinds of love. Zach Hyman, 14th goal of the year. Did you know that's as many as Fernando Pisani had in 2006, if you're old enough? There was a game. What game was it? Game 4. I went with Tyler. And so that was last week, why I had to do a voicemail episode last week. And Jason Smith was in the moss pit signing autographs. Waz and Brett just walked right up to him because the kids didn't know who he was. I was like,
what the fuck?
There are too many things that make me feel old on a regular basis, and having the kids not know who Jason Smith was, that's right up there. I also, I went to the moss pit before Game 6. Captain Felton wanted to go check it out, so I'm like, let's do it. Went to check it out with Captain Felton, with Waz, with Kennedy, with Payton, with Brett. There was a bunch of Nation staff in there that had been kind of going to the moss pit the whole time. That was my first time, probably 2 years. Anyway, all I walked in and I go, holy shit, I'm the oldest person here by a decade plus. So you know what I did? I grabbed a bag of free cheesies. Shout out to the cheesy man. And then I grabbed a beer and I said, Captain Felton, I want to go inside now. Now, I did want to go get the tattoo. We did miss it, but Bearded Brad got one. Shout out to Bearded Brad. And then me and Captain did laps. We did hot laps around the concourse. Checked out warm-ups. Saw a banjo guy. Saw McMullet. Gang's all here. Had a good time. Bunch of high fives. I'm basically a photographer for Captain Felton every time I hang out with him. That guy couldn't walk 3 feet in the moss pit / Rogers Place without somebody stopping him for a photo. He was basically hanging out with banjo guy. But just like in a captain's outfit. The thing that I love about being at Oilers games now, and Frank Saravalli kind of put me onto this, was just how every single game now is turned into a Halloween party. People are in costumes. There's that one dude that 3D printed a samurai costume. There's guys in masks. There's guys dressed like Vikings. There's, banjo guy goes all out. His makeup gets crazier by the game. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. This is the greatest time of my life. And that doesn't even touch on the fact that after the Game 5 watch party, we saw
a girl's titties. Wahoo!
What did you see?
Don't worry about it, little quads. Listen, don't Google what we're talking about right now. In fact, I want you to put earmuffs on, because now it's time for the adults to talk.
But I want to know, too. You guys said a word that makes my cheeks red.
No, quads. Listen, don't make Satan put you to bed. You can sleep on the top bunk if you leave now.
Top bunk?
Top bunk.
Top bunk?
Top bunk.
All right.
shout out to that lady. I called it the Care Bear Stare celebration. After Game 6, I too pulled off the Care Bear Stare celebration. I was at a bar, though, when I did it, not at a watch party. According to TMZ, that unnamed woman has been offered a position in the adult film industry, which is the least surprising news of all time. Any podcast that talked about sports on Earth, including like a massive one like Pardon My Take, was covering her assets. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that Edmonton in the playoffs is just a different level. Different level. As my friend the Towel Boy said, best D pairing he's seen since Bouchard and Ekholm. I thought that was quite clever. Now, gentlemen, I encourage you. Care Bear Stare celebration. Ladies, I'm not asking you. I'm not some kind of pervert.
Yes.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
What does that word mean?
Don't worry about it, Quaz. I thought I sent you to bed.
Sorry.
Gentlemen, I encourage the Care Bear Stare countdown celebration. It's so stupid. Obviously, the Oilers won that game, Game 6. Loudest I've ever heard that place. When the final buzzer went off, all I heard was noise, like a wall of sound that was indistinct. You couldn't tell what anybody was saying. You couldn't hear the interviews on the ice. All you heard was the roar. And then I kind of think about Jack Michael's call on Instagram, which is just unbelievable to me. And if you haven't heard it, I beg you to do it, because it is one of those things where even though I was at the game, watching Jack Michaels do that call just got me fired up all over again. He is so good at this job that it's almost blowing my mind that nobody has poached him from us yet. Please, TV people, leave him to us. I love Jack Michaels very, very much, but come on, how could I not?
Stars gonna change. The Oilers 1 minute away from the Stanley Cup final. Missed it down deep by Matt Duchene. Sagan to Robertson, deep right corner. Wrapped up with Nurse. Duchene in front. Bounced away. Race for the puck. First on it, Connor Brown. A clear back to center. Haskin it over. Robertson tucks it back in. Skinner hard up the boards. Game 3. Attempted clear. Hacked. Whacked. Bouncing in the slot. Finally out to Heiskanen. 35 seconds. Loading. Side of the net. In front. Swing and a miss. Marchment. 25 seconds to go. A quick dish down low. Duchene a shot off the pads. The rebound cleared by Brown. Not enough for icing. 15 seconds away from a trip to the final. Here's the finish. 2-1 Edmonton. Sagan tucks it down low. Bouchard smacks it around. Marchment in front, one-timer wide. Jason Robertson. 3 seconds. Heiskanen has it blocked. This game, this series is over. Edmonton's heading to the Stanley Cup final.
Come on, like, how could you not love everything about that call? I'm just getting goosebumps. Like, if you could see my arms, I've got goosebumps again just thinking about it. I've listened to that 15 times at this point. Still works. Jack Michaels hits every single time. He is an absolute legend. Of course, it wasn't all fun and games. Game 6, we saw that Evander Kane played under 5 minutes, though. I love that he stayed on the bench to cheer with his teammates. He didn't go down to the dressing room. He came out for the third period, even though he didn't play. Love that from Evander Kane. Love that he was soaking in the moment like that. But he sat out, according to Knobloch, because of injury. And when I think of that, I hope this week off is what it takes to get him back and going. Because if the Oilers are going to win this series, they're going to need guys that can play physical, and Vander Kane is certainly one of them, right? He's certainly one of them. The other news from the week, just in terms of like injuries, quote unquote, I guess, Troy Stetcher, successful surgery to remove a cyst from his ankle. Unfortunate. I saw a bunch of people who were kind of shitting on Ken Holland for that move because he had to get surgery and didn't even play all that much. But like, is this like, I'm not a doctor. I could be an unlicensed one. If you need a note, I will write you an unlicensed doctor note to get you out of the Stanley Cup finals or going to work the next day. But is that something that they would have known about with due diligence, a cyst in the ankle? I don't know anything about anything. I'm just asking questions. So I hope that this week is kind of a little bit of time to Oilers to rest up, because most part they've been relatively healthy, and they're going to need everybody firing on all cylinders and nothing less if they're going to beat the Panthers. Our boy Ben reached out on Twitter, or on Instagram, I should say, and he goes, what part of Florida's game should we be most scared of? And I think it's a fair question when you see a team as good as Florida, but when you look at the stats, they don't score as much as the Oilers, though that said, they give up less than the Oilers. So in terms of a head-to-head comparison, just apples to apples, the Oilers scored 63 goals through 18 games. The Panthers have scored 55 goals through 17 games. The Oilers have given up 47 goals in 18 games. The Panthers have given up 39 goals in one fewer game. In terms of the special teams, the Oilers dominate there. The Oilers power play is 37.3. The PK is 93.9. On the flip side, the Panthers power play is 23.3, 88.2 on the PK. So both teams very good at special teams. In terms of looking at some shots for, shots against, Oilers averaging 28.9 shots for. They're only giving up 25, though the Panthers registering about 33.2 shots per game and giving up 24.5. So I think to answer the question, there's a couple things that stick out to me about the Florida Panthers. Their depth is solid. Now, that doesn't scare me because we all heard about how the Dallas Stars depth was going to just trounce anything the Oilers could do. And it didn't. So is it a problem? It could be, but it's something that they're going to have to be aware of and they're going to have to adjust to. The other thing is Bobrovsky is playing some really, really good hockey in net, so Stu's going to have to be dialed in. Now, they did just beat Jake Ottinger in round 3, and he's a very, very good goalie, and they made him look pedestrian. So can they do that to Bob? Sure, but they're going to have to get him moving side to side. They're going to have to be going upstairs. He's a goalie that kind of covers the bottom of the net incredibly well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they adjust. And they're going to have to maintain some special teams dominance. It's worked for them in all 3 rounds so far. And if they can get it to go again in the 4th round, I'm not saying they're going to be perfect on the PK against the Panthers. The Panthers are good. They got plenty of good players. It's going to be a factor for sure. It's also going to be a factor to see how Connor/Leon, those lines get around Sasha Barkov. We're talking about a guy who's won the Selke. He's a very, very good defensive two-way forward, and he's going to be a handful. And then also, you looking at the defensive pairings, they've done a good job so far in the playoffs of shutting down some quality opponents. So when I think about the Panthers lines, there's a lot that the Oilers are going to have to look at and be like, okay, we got a lot on our plate here. We've got a lot on our plate. And specifically, one of the biggest notes for them is going to be on the back end, the pairing of Aaron Ekblad and Gustav Forsling. My hope is that Leon Draisaitl will have some kind of grudge that Aaron Ekblad went first overall in that draft. I'm hoping he's having some kind of grudge. Angry Leon being like, I went 3rd overall. You've got the 1st and 2nd overall, the 1st in Aaron Ekblad, the 2nd in Sam Reinhart. I'm better than both of you. Now, I'm just making that up. Leon didn't say that, but I wish he did. I wish he did. Then again, this team also feels like one that no matter who doubts them, what stands in their way, they find a way to overcome. And I look at some of the quotes that have come out courtesy of Oilers Plus after Game 6 win, like Zach Hyman when he said, joining the Edmonton Oilers was the best decision of my life. If you've heard the clip of him and his him talking about his brother as a youngster watching the Oilers versus Carolina in 2006, and then signing here and go, we remember 2006, cannot wait to play in Edmonton. The playoffs, hope we get to the Stanley Cup Finals. That place will be bananas. It is going to be bananas. Matthias Ekholm said straight to Ken Allen's face, thanks for trading for me. These are guys that are grateful not only for the opportunity, they're playing for each other, and that is a thing that if they can continue that, then man, who knows what's going to happen, but I feel good about it. I don't want to talk about it, but I feel good about it. Of course, what I don't feel quite as good about, and this is where we're going to wrap up the news, is ticket prices in Edmonton are just, there's something. There's something. Have you looked? Because 2 tickets to game 3 or 4 or 6, more than my mortgage? That's probably not great. But hey, do I worry about it later, just as I've done all playoffs long? Probably. Am I going to find a way into that building? There's no fucking way I'm missing this. So please subscribe to my OnlyFans. Please subscribe to my OnlyFans. The plan is, I don't know what the plan is.
Maybe you just want to jerk off to Connor McDavid highlights. Sure enough, there's going to be some fucking weirdos that would watch that and pay you $10 a month. You'll just have to crank one out every other day. There's plenty of McDavid highlights out there. You can do it.
Well, it is on the table. The news brought to you by Star Mechanical. Star Mechanical, of course, one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned, operated plumbing and heating businesses. 24/7 emergency services. Visit them at starmechanical.ca to schedule an appointment and let them help you keep your home running smoothly. Star Mechanical, presenters of the news.
You are listening to Better Late Than Never, so that means, I don't know, you press play at some point. But anyway, like and subscribe, tell your friends. If you don't think your friends are going to be interested, tell them fucking twice.
Well, there's Dukes. What else do you need to say? The betting segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Better Late Than Never. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code OILYBONUS. What's the promo code? OILYBONUS. What is the promo code? The promo code is OILYBONUS. Looking ahead at some futures here for the Stanley Cup Final. Over at Bet365, I pulled up a couple of bets that I'm interested in. Number 1, Game 1. Oilers are dogs, and frankly, I like it. I like the fact that the Oilers are underdogs again. People are writing them off before the season even starts because a lot of them, including Greg Cote, some dude that writes about the Panthers in Miami, probably he writes about football or basketball or something, and he got stuck on the Panthers beat because they're in the finals. He said, and I quote, that Connor McDavid is overrated. Yep, I said it. It sounds like a guy who hasn't watched a whole lot of Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is overrated. Boom. He puts up big, impressive stats. Yes, fine. But should he really be called generational? Called the best player in the sport when 9 seasons in, he's yet to lead his team to a Stanley Cup? Edmonton has truly had one of those players once. His name was Wayne Gretzky. Here's why the Oilers bunched 5 Stanley Cup wins in 1984 to 1990. McDavid? No, he's no Gretzky. He has the requisite nicknames. McJesus, a chosen one, but he has not proven beyond stats transcendent able to lift the franchise to the ultimate heights. Overrated. Pretty hilarious to think about when you consider that the 5th Stanley Cup the Oilers won, Gretzky wasn't here. Gretzky wasn't here. So when I'd come back to the betting segment for Bet365, I think about this future bet. Edmonton Oilers underdogs to win the series at plus 115. We, if you listen to the Real Life podcast, Wanye Chalmers and I, we put down some shekels on that. Oilers to win the series at plus 115. Are the odds, the hottest ones you'll ever see? No. But we're keeping it simple. Just like I am in Game 1 when I see that the odds to win Game 1, Oilers underdogs again, plus 115. And I'm guessing it's because guys like Greg Cote don't watch them ever. He didn't even know that Wayne Gretzky wasn't a part of the 5th Stanley Cup. He just likes to throw things out there. So Oilers, underdogs, plus 115 on the series. I am in. The other things that I was looking at was most goals in the final. So I got the top 5 here. Zach Hyman is the favorite at plus 350. Sam Reinhart is at plus 375. Leon Draisaitl up next at plus 450. Connor Verhaeghe is at plus 500. And then our boy Connor McDavid plus 550, even though it seems like he's starting to play his best hockey at the playoffs at exactly the right time. Looking at who will be the points leader in the playoffs, or in the final round, I should say. Connor McDavid is the favorite at plus 120, Leon Draisaitl up next at plus 350, and Sasha Barkov at plus 750. The interesting thing about me is that in the top 3 for points and in the top 5 for goals, no Matt Tkachuk. I find that interesting. Listen, say what you will about the Turtle. He's a fine hockey player. And the Oilers are going to have to find a way to keep him under wraps, just as they did in the second round against Calgary a handful of years ago. But these are all guys who can put up points. So that's what I'm looking at for futures bets here. Oilers to win game 1, plus 115. They are dogs. Oilers to win the series, plus 115. They are dogs. Most goals in the final, if I was to pick of the Oilers, Zach Hyman, Leon Draisaitl, or Connor McDavid, those were the top 5. I might go Leon Draisaitl in this one. I might go Leon Draisaitl because for some reason I just picture Leon Draisaitl going into another gear, which he tends to do in the playoffs, and this is the first time we've seen him in the big dance. I'm expecting him to make some magic. As for the points leaders, we had two Oilers up in the top 3. McDavid at plus 120, Leon Draisaitl at plus 350. Either of those sound fine to me. Now, Leon Draisaitl obviously gives you the juicier odds at plus 350, but I might do a little sprinkle on both. 1, because I believe Connor McDavid can do it. 2, a little hedge on Leon Draisaitl. Sounds pretty good to me, no? Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code OILYBONUS.
Ray, what are you listening to? Like Scoob, it's better late than never with bag milk. Zoinks!
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
The righteous sack beating today is for Trilogy Oilfield Rentals. Of course, they are an established provider of tools and expertise across multiple oil field disciplines, specializing in rentals, pipe recoveries, abandonments, and completions. Currently, they maintain full-time operating units in Provost, Weyburn, and Kindersley. What kind of tools do they have? Well, let me tell you. Rental tools, fishing tools, coil tools, drilling tools, mills and bits, completion tools, any tools for any job. TrilogyRentals.ca. Now, what is annoying me this week? Oh, I don't know. I don't know at all. Maybe it was a group of morons who went up to Connor McDavid when he was trying to celebrate after Game 6, going to pick up some beer with Lauren Kyle, and they just took it beyond what is appropriate. I understand, as a fan of the Edmonton Oilers, I understand why you would want to get Connor McDavid's attention or even a moment of his attention in your life to be part of that moment. But here's the thing. There's a massive difference to me between saying hi, Connor, going for a fist bump, giving him a salute, giving him a head nod. All of those things are appropriate to me if you see Connor McDavid in public. But if you cannot handle that, leave him alone. The last thing I want to see again is the most cringy video of these drunk dudes, at least in my opinion, acting like complete idiots. You're slapping him on the back. You're trying to hug him. You're basically trying to get into his car when it's very clear that he and Lauren are going out for a celebration. They're going to pick up beers after what is the biggest win of his life so far. And you are there trying to ruin it. There's the question, of course, like, why did Connor not have one of the rookies go pick up the beer? Why didn't he have it delivered? All of that is just like, who cares? Because all I could think about was at that moment, watching that video, how bad I felt for him and how amazed I was that he maintained his composure. He dealt with it like a champion, even though it was probably annoying, probably a little bit scary, and 1,000% inappropriate. And then I'm cruising Twitter and I see some of the arguments about why this was okay, even though you will never convince me that it's okay. And if you think just because Connor McDavid gets paid a lot of money that you can just invade his personal space and basically come up to what is just borderline assault, slapping him on the back, you don't know him, he's not your friend. You know who he is, he doesn't know you. Act like a human. Just because he is a wealthy man doesn't mean that it gives you a free pass to act like a moron. So what I'm asking you is, if you're hearing this and you see any Edmonton Oiler out in public, number one, leave him alone. But number two, if you're watching that, don't allow it to happen. I'm not saying intervene, but like, call it out. And I was happy to see universally across the board, people thought it was gross. And I couldn't even watch the full video. So embarrassing. If you're those dudes and any of this clip ever gets back to you, you're totally embarrassing. I don't understand what goes on in your head to think any of that was okay, because now you look like complete shitheads to the rest of us. I want Connor McDavid to end his career as an Edmonton Oiler. And do you think any of that garbage helps? So come up with your excuses all you want. It's because you've got a sad little life and you think that just because somebody makes a lot of money and lives in the public eye that they're a free-for-all. Well, let me tell you, that's just not how life works. He's still a person. He's a person in his late 20s who is going to celebrate a huge win with his fiance, and they just want to get to their lives. We need him right now. We need him feeling comfortable now and going forward. So I beg of you, if you see Connor McDavid in public, leave him be. Give him a wave. Give him a salute. Give them the, Connor, we believe in you. All that stuff's fine, and I'm sure he would actually appreciate it. But that, what I watched on social media everywhere the other day, was so gross. And frankly, as an Edmontonian, I'm fucking embarrassed for those morons who thought that was okay.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, that is the Righteous Sack Beating. We are going to have a voicemail episode of the podcast coming at you tomorrow because my throat is very hoarse. I'm going to cough right now, so hang on. I'm going to put this music on. That's why I've got this fresh music now. Hang on. Can you hear me? I'm gravelly. I'm going to do this one.
Oh, Captain Felton with your charms. In your uniform, you're looking so fine. So.
All right. I'm back. So we got a voicemail episode coming up tomorrow. We did 52 minutes here on episode 1 of the week. Based on the way you guys are flooding the emails, it's probably just going to seem like we're going to end up at 2 episodes a week anyway. So we might as well get into the routine. So voicemail episode is coming up tomorrow afternoon. Stick with me. Please share. Please keep flooding your voicemails in, because if I'm doing a full hour of voicemails, I want to hear from you. I want to hear about how excited you are for the Cup finals. I want to hear about your worries. I want to hear about your dreams. I want to hear about where you were when you watched the game. I want to hear about it all. And until then, we're going to wrap it up with Seven Seas, A Serenade, a little bit of original music here at Better Late Than Never.
Oh, Captain Felton with your charms. In your uniform, you're looking so fine and so true. Through the high seas and beyond. I'd follow the stars just to be where you are. Oh, I would sail the 7 seas for love. With you, my captain, under skies above.